there we go. It is so damn hot. And actually I realized that's a really bad place for this because it needs to go further away and lower down. This is really, quite complicated. Don't worry. You know what? So I've Sky managed to break my tripod, so things aren't quite right. I think maybe if I move this further away, it'll be better. Okay, am I in here? I'm sort of in here. Now I gotta find out if I'm supposed to be able to see myself here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, obviously a dramatic day today. Right, between fiery Starship tests and some deep, deep views of the galaxy presented by, well, because you're the president of the US and the US spent a lot of money on James Webb, sure, they can break the embargo a little by a few hours. So yeah, we have one image from that out. I've got to make videos about both of these things, but frankly, right now, I just want to make this Lego set that's been sitting around, and I feel that I am so hot. Well, actually, I should probably open these windows a bit, because I am so hot. Wait a second. Wait a second. Why have I got the blinds down here? You can't see that. Yeah, I just need to get some cool air into this place. Hey, from Corpus Christi, Texas. Hi. That image is beautiful. Kerbal Space Program. When? I don't know. I do it on Twitch. So yeah, this is... Anyway. Yeah, I just basically was like, oh my god. What shall I do? Photos, JWST, Starship Fireball. It seems like so much work. I just want to play with Lego for a little bit, right? I know I'm deserting you, but I figured that I would share this with you because why not? I love you guys. Yes, there's a lot going on, right? So anyway, this is the very limited edition Lego Ulysses set, which was only available from VIP points if you logged in at a certain time and you managed to order it, right? It was really, really hard. I will talk about Booster 7, but I need to think. But yeah, look, I will also share my thoughts about Booster 7, right? Let's be clear. I am just sort of collecting myself before I have the energy to make a really cool thing. Starship did not blow up, but there was definitely a deflagration, quite possibly a detonation underneath the engines. It's not really clear what was happening because they didn't send out a warning for an overpressure, right, which would normally be what they would do for like a full-on engine test, and that didn't happen. But fuel was definitely involved. Fuel definitely ran out of the engines, collected somewhere, and at the right moment it combusted with extreme energy and vigor. The Skylab is over there. The Skylab is over there. Hey, Conco, wait, oh wow. Conco's like giving back. What a wonderful person. Conco actually helped edit a bunch of my videos. Granted, I did pay them money for it, and I was quite happy for that. However, I have managed to actually recruit one of my children to be an actual video editor now, so things are sort of changing. Physics happened, physics and chemistry, and there were some animals around, so therefore biology as well. I'm so thankful that you come and you watch my videos because I like making videos, although it can be sometimes very, very hard. This is a dinky little set. This isn't like the space shuttle that's going to take 10 hours, although it is the same scale as the space shuttle because it was launched from the space shuttle. But it's a very small set. So we're going to start out by building a little base here, it looks like. Yeah, we do some twos. By the way, the beer today is something my wife picked up. Very, very manly beer, right? Because when you're a manly beer drinker, you can totally drink an apricot tart sour, right? Yes, I'm sorry. Sours can be totally legit, right? You can be... Straight whiskey can be a very girly drink, just as in candy-flavored beers can be a manly drink. Well, that's embarrassing. So they don't have... I already spilled beer in myself. What country is it for you? Did the shuttle have a B7 similar event during fuel testing? No, but I think this is very similar to the Delta IV startup, right? So the thing with the Delta IV is as they start up the engines, they want the engines to run fuel rich always, because if they run oxidizer rich, they will damage the engines and that will lead to, loss of vehicle. So that's why the Delta IV runs a lot of hydrogen through the engines as it starts up to make sure there's no oxygen rich moments. And that all that burns off and you get the giant Delta fireball. That's why the Delta IV is one of the most metal rockets, because it literally sets itself on fire as it launches. I think this is the same thing. I think that what happened was they were maybe doing some sort of pre-burner test, or they were going to spin up the turbines or what on one of the things, and that involved running a small amount of fuel through the engine, and that fuel built up, and when there was an ignition source, when they were doing the test, it detonated. It just generated that amount of stuff. That is entirely a theory. I have no actual window into what is going on with SpaceX, but I have my opinions and I'm standing by them. So, yeah, things happen. And I think it was just bigger than... I think they expected a fireball. I don't think they expected a detonation, right? And when you look at the video, basically it goes from nothing to the flame reaching the ground by the looks of things. And the only way it could cross that distance is if it was traveling faster than the speed of sound, right? Because if you think about it, 30 frames per second, the the sound would cover about 11 meters. Now, the booster is 9 meters in diameter. There's more than 11 meters to the ground. Therefore, it moved faster than the speed of sound. Therefore, it was a detonation rather than a slow-burning deflagration. And that is my theory. I, of course, am entirely speculating as to whether that's true or not. I could be wrong, but if anyone from SpaceX has some real knowledge they'd like to share, great! Otherwise, I will just continue speculating. I'm very excited for the JWST photos. By the way, I should shout out to everyone that's doing things. Neurostream! Oh my gosh! Whoa! I saw that flash earlier. Neurostream! Incredibly generous. Thank you very much. This will obviously pay for more Lego and more Lego streams, right? $50. What a wonderful, wow, generous person. By the way, I'm here at home without my family, which is why, they are all at scout camp. My kids are getting all their merit badges, and my wife is no doubt, at the target range getting high scores again, because that's what she did last year. She was really proud of the fact that she kept on getting the top score at the gun range. So anyway, I've been here on my own. There's a lot of stuff I need to get done. Like, the first thing I wanted to do yesterday was I'm gonna finally get that video about Thor or Delta out of the way. Actually, it was gonna be, I'm gonna get the Delta video out the way, and then I realized that since Thor Love and Thunder had been released, I could probably just do Thor and get, a little bit of that cachet, a little bit of a tie-in, so to speak. Yeah, it was just entirely about SEO optimization, right? So, wow, Mero Vibalik, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I like live chat. I want to get all messages visible. Mero Vibalik, thank you very much. Yeah, I have continued to work on the pilot's license, although the last two flights, boy, you really start to realize that the Cirrus is very much a computerized aircraft. I had to reboot the aircraft during a recent flight because as we were starting up, it gave us a warning about the autopilot servos being disconnected due to version incompatibilities. And my response was, well, we don't technically need that, but we should probably figure what's causing that. And in the end, we decided to just reboot the computers and everything just came up. And then today, or not today, yesterday, we had the computer system was warning me that we were running out of fuel. And I was like, no, I know, there was 40 gallons of fuel in those tanks and we've only been flying for an hour. There is no way we have burned 40 gallons of fuel. So we spent, we ended up basically heading back early, and it was fun because it's fun when you have things that are slightly different. And I was all super happy to be trying to like prove myself to be a good troubleshooter and try to solve problems. It's like, mate, okay, this is my approach. These are the air places. These are the places we can divert to. We got back, fine. I looked in the tanks. Yeah, there was like 26 gallons still in there, right? The drink is a apricot tart sour. I have also seen the Scott Moonley KSP thing. I've literally used it in screenshots to one of my videos. Are spin stations possible with today's technology? Absolutely. Are they possible with the kind of funding that people have for them? No, it would be a hideously expensive thing. Although it is interesting that it would make some things easier because gravity solves a lot of problems. Rick L, I'm building the Ulysses spacecraft, or the Ulysses space probe. It comes with this nice little display thing. This was a special kit which was released to coincide with the discovery of the space shuttle, and it was very hard to get because you had to log in at a specific time, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so I'm doing this. Oh dear. Your Shunda's Scott Moonley. Have you noticed that Scott Moonley, just like me, wears his headphones on one ear only? It's sort of how I spend a lot of time wearing headphones as a DJ. And so pretty much I always like to hear one thing from one ear and I hear the ambience with the other. And it's very important when you're mixing in a nightclub to be able to listen to the outside mix and what's coming over your headphones. And I did it for so long that I just naturally do that when I put on headphones, except when I'm in an aircraft. Because obviously aircraft, like, you can't be messing around with that. Okay. I don't know, yeah, I think it just makes a lot of sense, especially if you're in an office. You might want to hear people around you. Oh wow, your wife and your pilot are both pilots in Canada. Or sorry, you and your wife are both pilots in Canada. That's fantastic, and you're working on a Lego Millennium Falcon. Wow. I mean, you know all about Harrison Ford being a pilot, right? He's a very cool kind of individual like that. Obviously, people tend to talk more about his occasional mistakes. So I've tried to be a merit. Yeah, I have basically set myself up. So yeah, my family, Sky and Orion, are both in the Scouts. Orion sort of started it begrudgingly, and when we moved here, what happened was Orion basically went to an award ceremony with Sky, and Sky saw that girls had been introduced, and the girls were getting way more badges than the boys because the girls were super insanely motivated. And that was the thing. She was just like, I'm gonna be a scout. I'm gonna be an Eagle Scout. And she's been like troop leader. I'm not sure she'll actually make Eagle, but I really hope she does because she's way more into it than Orion. And so I like to work as a merit badge counselor if I can, although generally it's more that I just turn up at things and help and bring telescopes. I really want to do the nuclear science merit badge, so I've got all the gear for that. Is that right? That can't be. Oh, that's what's going on there. That isn't right. I must be misunderstanding something because that does not look right. I need to rewind a second. No, that is correct. Oh, wait, no? Oh, I see. This only. Oh, shoot. It's always. Fellow DJ. So I used to have like really cheap turntables back, like decades ago. But when I came to the US, what I bought was I looked around and I ended up buying the Vestax PDX3s because those had the best timing circuits. They kept speed best and they had much higher torque than the SL1200s. And they had a straight tone arm. So that is what I use. I have two Newmark mixers actually. I have one which has an optical fader, which has just the best fader action for like turntablism. It's just beautiful the way that moves, and it's really noise free. But I have another mixer which has a Chaos Pad effects unit built in. So yeah, I have that's my stuff. I have two different mixers that I use, and then headphones. The headphones that I wear pretty much on all my streams are the DJ headphones I bought. Oh, I had another set of Sony's. They were like Sony MD500 or something. But yeah, hold on, I just gotta make sure this works. So what was I saying? Yeah, that's my gear. I really haven't got proper monitors or anything anymore. It's the Fortran kid from last stream. Yes, Fortran, that's the stuff. There we go. Look, we're putting these around the side. So that's an intro. Have I seen the JWST image? Absolutely. There are so many galaxies. I think, well, to paraphrase Dave Bowman, my God, it's full of stars. Well, actually, my God, it's full of galaxies, which are full of stars, obviously. Happy 711 days. What kind of music do I DJ? Well, the thing I was most known for was like breaks back about 20 years ago. But the thing that I loved to play was basically everything. You know, I would love it when I could just turn up and play a bunch of random stuff. Like, I would, you know, drop a bunch of dub and then some house music and then, you know, blow stuff up with some like hard breaks, just whatever people were into. I was never great at reading the vibe, to be honest, but I always had fun. My God, it's full of galaxies. Yes, that's it. So anyway, yeah, obviously we're looking for 3 more. Scott is a Scot. I am indeed. Slancha or Slangeva. This is you can't see it, unfortunately. There's no art on the box. What's the best track for astronomy? My favorite astronomy themed piece of dance music is Hail Bob by Dordreet Drum, I think that's the name. Look it up. It is a real banger of like a club tune, right? You know, it's sort of a bit techie, maybe a bit tech trance. I don't know how you call it, but it's like, God, the drums, like they kick in a really clean way. Yeah, look it up. Hail Bob. It just never grows old for me, thankfully. I remember Hail Bob about 25 years ago. The kids have never seen anything so amazing. What's the best part of the SLS rocket? That's a very good question. I mean, look, the engines are still top tier. It's just the worst part of the engines is the fact that they're throwing them away. That is the only bad thing I have to say about them. You know, like the RS-25s have so much beautiful history. Okay, I am not see. Here it is, right here. Oh my. Your wife watches your video. She wrote the Space Michael Chiklis. Thank you, Jason Watley. I've no idea what that means. Have I considered doing a full video on Skyhook concept? Maybe. People ask about a lot of things. What do you think about the JWST? No, it's not a supermassive black hole. It's basically a series of galaxies that have provided the space. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is build out these little side pieces, which are like this. So we're building flat-sided things. This is like a standard trick in Lego to do circular surfaces. You're learning Russian with your fiance on Duolingo for hopeful chance that you fly to the ISS. Well, great. I think learning to speak Russian is just interesting because there's so much interesting stuff in Russian. You know, I like Russian. Unfortunately, I don't like Russia right now. And there's many problems with that. What is foam cooling? Film cooling. Albert Gerard, I think he's talking about film cooling. That's where you run cooler gas along the wall of the combustion chamber, right? I think the subtitles for Tim's stream are not done by Tim, and therefore they're frequently wrong. Tim, I'm gonna say Tim started out at this as a complete amateur, like pretty, clueless when it came to rockets, and he has really risen to the challenge and the expectations. He knows a lot of stuff now. Granted, he's not done front end. He doesn't carry the physics around in his head like I do, but he has learned a lot, and I gotta respect him for that. And of course, he's quite happy to accept messages and stuff from his or assistance from his viewers. His style of production is obviously way flashier and more polished than I will ever have. Like, what's the maximum speed humans will ever travel? Did you know? I remember my dad showing me this encyclopedia or something, which was from like the 1800s. Like, and it talked about how at one point doctors thought that man could never travel faster than 60 miles an hour because it would destroy their bodies. And this was this was looking back then and saying, oh, what a jolly laugh. Now we have trains and we can go almost 100 miles an hour. We can go like 80 miles an hour or something. They were like, yeah, clearly this is wrong. You travel 20, I'm traveling fast right now. We're traveling 280. What I think about Tim's I think, there's questions I would have asked, but here's the thing, he might have asked those questions and not got the answers. That's really the problem, just in general. So what we're doing is now we're putting these things on the side to give it the circularity. So this is, right, see? So, how many times have you been asked about the explosion at Boca Chica? Not that many today. Right now, I am basically, honestly, this is me sort of doing some Zen meditation before I write a thing, right? Before I actually, not write it, before I actually make the video. Right, that's really what it is. Oh yeah, Starfix, I played Last Call on Twitch last week. Yeah, if you watch my most recent Twitch, you'll see me playing through it and spending way too much time building out a mech model. Last Call, BBS, it's a mashup of several different game styles. But Zachtronics, there's a lot of real nuggets of coolness in there. There's this interesting story that's going on around it, but I haven't completed it because there's a lot of dungeons to figure out. But yeah, Zachtronics. Basically, Zach Barth has decided that he is getting out of the games industry. He's accepting a job in teaching, and more power to him. He is this person is basically has changed gaming in a way that most people just don't appreciate, right? If you don't know Zachtronics games, they've made one type of game particularly good. They made a bunch of other games, but Zach is so important to gaming that he has an entire genre of games named after him, and he's basically the grandfather of Minecraft. He created Infiniminer and then quit and gave up on it. And some guy called Notch decided to make a game based on Infiniminer called Minecraft. Yes. So the fact that Zachtronics are releasing their final game and quitting the industry is kind of a big thing. I'm not really good at Blender, so I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask to make model tutorials. At most, what I've done with Blender is I download models and make them move. Oh, she moves between... Oh, Hectic, seriously, I wouldn't go and ask. I'm just curious as to what the plan was. I feel that based on the fact that they weren't calling like a full shutdown, it was very likely... I don't know why they're doing that, but it was very likely just they were going to spin turbines and test fuel flow, and unfortunately it ended up being a little bit more explodey than they expected. I think they expected a fireball. I don't think they expected a detonation. Oh, this aluminium tube of deliciousness, as I said, it's Jackrabbit Brewing Company. Where is it? West Sacramento. Apricot sour. It is a totally manly beer because I get to decide what's manly by definition. Okay. Best Zachtronics game for newbies is Opus Magnum. The best Zachtronics game, full stop, is Shenzhen IO. And Space Chem is pretty good as well, but it's much older. But if you've never played a Zach-like, I highly recommend Opus Magnum. As I said, Zach not only has an entire genre of games named after him, he invented Minecraft before Minecraft was a thing. Unfortunately, he never made any money from it. But I do know that Notch actually plays Zach's games, so, there is that. But Shenzhen IO is sort of my favorite as well. I remember I actually got given a copy of that by Zach, who was watching my videos. He sent me the deluxe edition, and then I went and played it, and it was one of my most watched video series at the time. I'm really grateful for that. Hold on, there, like that. There we go. I might do some more. Austin, always happy to hear. What's the building? We are building the Ulysses spacecraft. So, I don't know if you know about the Ulysses spacecraft. It was a spacecraft which was sent to probe the sun, and the way it worked was they wanted to look at the solar poles, because those are regions that humanity could never see from Earth. So, instead of launching it towards the sun, they launched it out towards Jupiter, and then it swung underneath the pole of Jupiter up over the top of the sun, getting a good look at the poles, and then it swung around, and then it caught Jupiter again and get kicked under the other pole, like closer down. So I think that's what happened. It basically did a couple of passes over the poles at different positions. I totally saw the explosion at Starbase, although technically I was in a meeting when that happened. But I've already... Yes, Mr. BF, I am all original. Children of the Dead Earth, I would wait for it to come up in a deal at this point. It is not a great game. It is an absolutely fascinating thing for messing around with, but I wouldn't presume it to be like a really good game. I guess that's what I'm gonna say. Like, I think playability wise it has many problems. But anyway, how do I have all the time for my hobbies? Do I just never... I don't sleep. No, I sleep and I immediately get up. And could the JSWST collect its orbit with... That's a very good question. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to come for Artemis 1. I'm having enough... How do I get time for all my hobbies? I don't fly anywhere to see rocket launches. That would make a big difference, I think, if I actually chose to do that. So I'm going to put this here for now. That's the spacecraft. Look, you see, it's got basically the engine, right? This is just an engine section. The space probe sat on the front. You are multitaskers. I've been watching you. Favorite NASA mission patch? That's a very good question. I think the Apollo 11 badge is pretty darn good. Yes, the Ulysses Solar Observer spacecraft. That is exactly. Please tell us more about you being a Nine Inch Nails fan. I was a fan of Nine Inch Nails ever since I saw them. Actually, no, even before I saw them. I was always this person that sort of sat between, I loved, the dark edges of metal and stuff like that. And I loved, electronic music. And so Nine Inch Nails sort of came along and they were like, this is exactly what I've been wanting to listen to. And sure, Trent Reznor was a little bit dramatic when I saw him on stage, but I was there, I was vibing. So, I've never not been a fan. Although I'm gonna say that when he worked at Apple, I didn't want to email him. I thought that would have been bad karma. I thought that might have got me fired. But Trent. I really sort of appreciate Trent as a producer. He has such a really good ear and understanding of music, and I love the work that he did on the Watchmen soundtrack, for example. Right, and I love his movie soundtrack stuff. Okay, so we're working on this thing a little here. What's my thoughts on today's booster test? Boom! Right, that's my thoughts. Thoughts on Metallica? Well, so Metallica are basically a local band now because I live in San Francisco. So I'm not secretly playing KSP2. I'll say that. I've actually seen that story, that Black Mirror episode, and I totally recognized Head Like a Hole. It's like, I know that tune. Like, in my desk drawer, I have a cassette single of Sin, with the B-side being Get Down, Make Love, which is a cover of a Queen tune that nobody knows about. But I love that, and I just keep that around as a weird artifact of a forgotten time. Like cassette singles. Like, Observation is a game that I have to get around to playing. That would imply that I actually have free time. This is me actually doing free time instead of playing games. When I do free time for playing games, I tend to do it on Twitch. Mostly because, I don't know, I think that's when I like to relax a bit. Would be really cool if you could do a video on the physics of For All Mankind 3. Yeah, I should. I want to do a bit on that, but equally, I don't want to call them out and say, this stuff is, you didn't do your math right. Okay, so we gotta do this, and I gotta do one of these. This is the space, we're almost done here, can you believe that? If I had KSP2, would I tell you? I can tell you that they haven't told me that I can't tell you, so they haven't told me. So no, I don't have it, right? That's the truth. Right? When I stop saying that I can't, you know what, like a non-disclosure agreement would mean that I couldn't say no, I don't have it, right? So no, I don't have it. I was never selected for Dear Moon. I actually missed one of the deadlines by a few hours because it was Japanese time. And besides, everybody else was so much more good at video editing than myself, right? That's basically what it comes down to. I am setting up a canary statement apparently. But that's the thing, now that I've set up a canary statement, if they do make me sign an NDA, then it may include a requirement to not change the canary statement, right? What's my fondest memory of spaceflight? That's a very good question. Honestly, my fondest memory of spaceflight is, oh man. I think my favorite memory of spaceflight was the DART launch, just being there with my family and my wife just really getting why rockets are exciting. You know? She was just like sold. I played the original Alpha Centauri many, many years ago. If that's what you're wondering. Yeah, I can't obviously go into details about any NDA I've signed because NDAs usually have things that tell you can't talk about the NDA. I could tell you about NDAs I haven't signed, and they all were things that I wasn't interested in. Like, I think the nearest they had to a remake for Alpha Centauri was the First Rule of Flight Club. Yeah, First Rule of NDAs. I have totally seen the movie Sunshine. Obviously, I like it. I was interested in it when I heard that it was Danny Boyle, and it had a soundtrack by Underworld. So yeah, totally have seen that movie. I think it's kind of bad in all sorts of ways, but all the same, would watch again. Wow, Rich B313, you're really coming from the past. Watching Alan Shepard launch. Well, here's to Alan Shepard consuming more alcohol than most people do in their entire lives in a few minutes to fly to space. My favorite space movie, honestly, is Star Wars, but my favorite space movie is The Martian. The one, right? Star Wars is important because it made me who I am. The Martian is important because it is just such an enjoyable movie that actually has science and stuff. I have to kick somebody. Boom. Oh, there we go. How goes the flight training? I think I'm over 20 hours. The Martian is... See, not only is The Martian great, but it has all the fun disco tunes, and you get to the end, and it's all like nations coming together, getting on the love train, like, and you feel joyous. You feel this is how space exploration should be. And yeah, I know that this is unfortunately spoiled by other people. It's not, but yeah, get on the love train, join hands, got the love train, the love train. Yeah. Giving a shout out to Scott's Discord. It's the best. I wish I had more time to talk on the Discord because there's so many cool people on there. I don't know that there'll be catastrophic damage to B7. So one thing I noticed about Booster 7 is that nearby, while the blast looked pretty, rough, it didn't shatter windows. There's a number of windows in some of the shots. The glass isn't broken. So I'm not sure that it's as big a deal as we think. Big fan from Nepal. That is, wow. I'd love to go to Nepal. Like, okay, wait a second. That's this. Great, okay, so this goes on here. Okay, so we fold that down and fold the antenna up. So that's the antenna folded on one side. Oh, I don't know if it's an antenna, it might be a magnetometer. Booster 7 was just jealous. Yeah, Booster 7 was just showing that it's a way more metal rocket, right? I don't think the solar sail scene is very accurate, Linux user 1234. I'm just going to say that for all mankind, the solar sail was way too small for what it was supposed to do. Right? That's my position. And I'm sticking to it, and my watch is telling me that it's almost out of power. Okay. Have I been to Huntsville, Alabama? I have not. Okay, this goes in here. Alcohol is just a cheaper way to fail non-gravitational forces. There we go. There, look, this is really... Doesn't it start to look like whatchamacallit? It's New Horizons, right? Another favorite moment was a Space Oddity cover. That's pretty good. I should definitely... Well, I think I've talked about Helium-3 in the past. And, the thing about Helium-3 is that it's a great plot point unless you're actually a nuclear physicist, in which case you're like, this would never work. You need to get regular nuclear stuff working. Okay. So I think we're almost done with this. This goes on the top. I think maybe it goes like that. Wait a second. How does it go on there? It's kind of off center, so I think that's how it goes. That feels like it's kind of in the center. What do you think? You know, that'll work. Well, I'm Team Sojourner because they brought an iPod. I thought it was fun that they've like Apple is finally getting its product placement in its shows. Obviously, yes, I work at Apple. I do sort of find it funny to watch stuff on Apple TV Plus and wonder, like, when are they going to fit in like Apple product placement? You know, at least if you watch Greyhound, there's none in there. I love Greyhound is a fabulous. If you have Apple TV Plus, 100% recommend watching Greyhound. It is such a good movie. There we go. There we go. We got it. We built the spacecraft. So this goes with the space shuttle, and you can put it in the space shuttle model. But it doesn't actually go. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I think I'm probably going to have to mount it sideways somewhere. But that is my model here. It's not. You still have your old iPod Touch. Well, I mean, the click wheel iPod. That's the one. Hello from Gujarat. Hey. Hello. Have I heard of Gilmore Space Technology? Yes, I do remember Gilmore, and I've heard that brought up because they are in fact doing that. Yes, I do have a 3D printer. It was donated by Prusa, and I need to print up my last call, you know, Sawayama blade thing. Have I ever had any experience in launching any ICBMs? Only in video games. It looks like New Horizons. So yeah, this is the spacecraft. I think what happens is it launches and then this bit comes off and that's the spacecraft. But it must have some kind of, you know, propulsion or whatever. I don't actually know because I don't know very much about it, but I guess this is like a magnetometer or something that comes out, and this is like another one. And so that's the spacecraft. There was a Lego Ideas set for spacecraft, space probes, and I really wanted that to happen, but it didn't make the thing. I've talked about the SpaceX explosion. What my theory was that they were going to do a spin up of the turbine, of the turbo pumps or whatever, just to test. They weren't going to do like a full high power engine test because they would have to close the roads they would have to put out a warning about overpressure. And I think, yeah, they went to spin up those. Part of that is they're flowing gas, you know, methane through it to power it. And some of that built up, and it built into a stoichiometric detonable mixture. They had a very rapid combustion, which caused an overpressure event, which blew stuff around. Now, what is a bigger mystery is after that, why they then just let the booster sit there and slowly vent oxygen for a very long time. I'm wondering if that damaged some of the ground service stuff, or if it produced the kind of accelerations which tripped some safeties, and basically their decision was, let's not risk these, you know, transmitting this, pushing this back through ground service equipment, because we don't know the status of those connections and it could get really bad. So someone, Mecca is asking, did I see Starlink 3.1? Yes, I went and I climbed Mount Tam, which is out that window. Did I see it? Yeah, you can't really see it, but out there's a mountain. And I went and climbed it so I could see, you could just see it behind that tree. Yeah. It was 4:20 when it popped, yes. Yeah, no, you can see all sorts of stuff flying around. What I'm hoping to see from JWST is deeper views of the galaxy. I'm looking for more evidence of exoplanets. I'm hoping to peek inside dust nebula that, you know, make it very hard for the Hubble Space Telescope. There's a lot of things. The mountain is hiding behind that tree. Yeah, I could definitely... hold on. Look, let me grab this. Let me grab this and I'll take it out. Right, we're going to go outside and I'll show you the mountain. I'll be showing you the mountain when I'm out. I'll be showing you the mountain. It's out there. Oh, it's still hiding it behind the tree. I'll be going over here then because there's a different window and there ain't any window, any... Hey! Hey! No, I think everyone knows I live in Marin. I live north of San Francisco, and yeah, as I said, okay, we'll get a different view again. There. So we get a very nice night here. We get a moon there in the sky, and down in that valley there, if you follow that through, there's San Francisco there. Don't have the Kobe. There's a Ghost of Kiev mod. That is kind of crazy. Oh, look, here's the kitty. Hey, kitty. Hey, Tang. What are you doing? You're a really floofy kitty, aren't you? Yeah, you're a really floofy kitty. Meow, meow. Look at how fluffy that thing is. You know I'm allergic to cats, right? Floofy kitty, yes. Okay, so yeah, this was never intended to be a very long stream, but I finished the model, so I guess, you know, I'm gonna give you another few minutes to like chill, drink beer, answer questions. Actually, you know what? Let me maybe sit out in the balcony while I answer questions, right? That's maybe the next thing. Oh, the ISS flies over at 10 o'clock. I will look for it. I was cut off for a second. Oh, hold on. Any thoughts on Apple's Foundation series? I'm going to say I like lots of stuff about it, but I really dislike the last couple of episodes. It got annoying. How are the Cirrus lessons coming along? They are going excellently. Okay. Hold on. Okay, this is a problem. I'm trying to not have my tripod fall. There we go. Okay, we're going to sit out and drink beer on the balcony. I'm going to try and read things. You saw it in Florida. Yeah, so it will pass over, because it's passing over the northern hemisphere, you're going to have similar sighting opportunities. Yeah. How successful? Oh, I can't read this. It's going too fast. Liquid metal technology. I'm sorry, I can't keep up with any of this. I should 3D print Lunar Gateway. We don't really know exactly what it's going to be like. So the experimental EAA, right? So this is, some people are talking about EAA, right? The Experimental Aircraft Association, and they have a big show, like a convention, where everybody flies in with their aircraft and experimental aircraft and stuff. Also known as Oshkosh. Yeah, I know, that would be a very cool thing to go to. However, I'm hoping to do the simulated fly-in on Pilot Edge, where they have the actual controllers and the actual scenery, and you got to fly a VFR approach into the runway and stuff. So I'm super excited to try that. Yeah, busiest airport for a week. I'm much more fascinated by that now. Book an entire... Yeah, it would be amazing to do a zero-G flight with Nerf guns. I'm not sure how that would work, but yes. I don't know if the Raptor nozzles are dead after that. No, I don't think the Raptor nozzles, because they have to handle much higher stresses.
You should sure stream that. Rock your wings. I know. I think I'm gonna have to train a couple of times. I'm really hoping that it works. People keep asking about helium-3. So let's explain. Helium-3 is hot stuff in science fiction, because the problem with fusion, right? You can make fusion by fusing deuterium and tritium. That is the easiest kind of fusion you can do. The problem is that will generate helium and a neutron, and the neutron flies off, and those neutrons are really hard to contain. So you can't make a compact reactor. You have to have tons of shielding, and that shielding has to absorb those neutrons and somehow turn them into energy. With helium-3, the idea is you can take helium-3 nuclei and their spare protons, so those fly off. Protons can be stopped by electromagnetic fields, so you can make a much more compact reactor. The problem is, helium-3 requires way more energy to fuse, right, at much higher temperatures. So if you can't figure out how to make deuterium and tritium fusion self-contained, you're a long way from figuring out how to make helium-3 work. But anyway, it's really useful for science fiction because it's called aneutronic fusion. Fusion which doesn't generate neutrons. Now, the kind of fusion that the sun uses is pure hydrogen fusion, and that's it's the old thing. It's the kind of thing that can only happen on stellar timescales, right? Aerospikes. What am I going to say about aerospikes? I don't really have a thing to say about aerospikes. Aerospikes are the kind of thing that you would use if you want to have a rocket which handles large amounts of pressure changes. And the problem is, aerospikes were really interesting when NASA was looking at single stage to orbit, right? Where they wanted to have was it the X-33, and it would ascend vertically and basically go into orbit, and then the whole thing would land in a single stage. The problem is, SpaceX has basically demonstrated that you can do two-stage to orbit very reliably, and then you only need to worry about getting the seconds. They've solved getting boosters back. It's easy. It's now all about figuring out how to recover the second stage. And so, aerospikes have lost a huge chunk of their appeal because you never need them. Right, you've got a booster which is adapted for ground altitudes, and you have an upper stage which is adapted for upper altitudes. There's never a need for a vehicle that does both of those. Is it me or Scott looks like Boba Fett? Did you know that Boba Fett actually made his debut, right? Not in Empire Strikes Back, but in the town parade, about 2 miles in that direction. So George Lucas lives about 2 miles in that direction there, right? And back in 1978, the town was going to have a parade for 4th of July. And they said, hey, George, you've got this movie that's like quite popular. Do you want to bring out some characters? And they basically grabbed the suits. They had the Darth Vader outfit and they had the Boba Fett outfit, which wasn't like revealed at that time. I think it might have been still in white. And they had somebody walking both of those, and it was in the theater. And that was where Boba Fett appeared for the first time, right? You should absolutely watch, you totally should watch Greyhound. It is a marvelous, marvelous movie. I mean, like, it just makes you want to learn all about submarine warfare and stuff. Favorite launch site and why? Well, obviously I like Vandenberg. That's the one because it's near me and because I can see stuff happening. But I think realistically, the one that I'd like to go to is Mahia in New Zealand. It looks absolutely beautiful, and it would give me an excuse to go to New Zealand. And New Zealand has many things I like. It has volcanoes, right? It has really cool indigenous cultures that just I love watching the All Blacks play rugby. And yeah, Taika Waititi, I like him. Although I haven't seen Thor, I know the movie may be divisive, but I like him. Yes. Oh, great, St. Helena. I totally see St. Helena, the mountain near St. Helena, and I use that as a marker when I'm doing turns sometimes. I've not been down to South America. I would like to go sometime. Have I played Iron Lung? I have not. I'm going to say Das Boot, that like the big extended version or the TV series, absolutely amazing. Right, Dust Boat, I love Dust Boat, but I'm gonna say that like it is quite a commitment to get through that movie. Greyhound is just very entertaining naval warfare thing, and in many ways, I believe it might be more accurate than Dust Boat. What do you think about the Orville? I haven't seen the recent episodes, but every time I've watched an Orville episode, I have mostly been impressed at how well they use the language of science fiction. And it shows that Seth MacFarlane really is a fan of science fiction, that he can put this stuff together and tell good science fiction stories, as well as making them actually quite entertainingly amusing. Like, I think it's wild that we have two really good science fiction comedies. We've got Red Dwarf and The Orville. And, like, they're able to tell really good science fiction stories and make them funny. Right? It's like sci-fi is really just a setting, right? It's anyway. Obviously, Hunt for Red October's out there as an entertaining show, but it's not. Yeah. Oh, Cruel Say is more accurate than Greyhound, is it? Okay, I'll have to watch that again. I watched Cruel Sea when I was way younger, so I don't remember. There's something about an FCC filing. No, Star Trek can live forever. Whatever, I don't care. I like Star Trek. The set that I built was the Ulysses spacecraft. Okay, we get 3 more minutes on this. Solar sails for Voyager 3. No, it's Voyager 6 you have to worry about, right? Rick and Morty can actually be interesting sci-fi, although, yeah, I don't know. KSP is better than Simple Rockets, as much as I like Simple Rockets. There's just too much momentum behind it. I can't follow all of this. What am I not looking forward to about space? I'm not looking forward to years of not knowing whether there's life on Mars. Right? Because there's always going to be people saying that we should leave Mars completely pristine just in case we find life there. And so I don't know how to deal with that, because I think that at some point you have to say, maybe just forget about contamination, just go with it. Stargate was a decent show, yeah. Anyway, I cannot follow all of these messages, but thank you very much. You're not looking forward to the big bubble that will pop. What? I'm not looking forward to Kessler Syndrome, yeah. The Right Stuff, the original Right Stuff is a thoroughly entertaining movie. Do not bother with the Disney series. Although, there's nice things about the Disney series, but there's a lot of garbage that just... I like the fact that the movie went and really spent a lot of time focusing on Chuck Yeager. You think spin launch will never succeed? I think that's highly likely. I do think that the people that have criticized spin launch have criticized it for all the wrong reasons, but that's a whole separate thing. The Great Scott Manley Uprising. Hey, I'm not called Elon, right? A Galaxy Quest, great movie. By Grabthar's hammer, I will avenge you. I have totally seen For All Mankind. I work at Apple. I've been watching that show since before it came out. Oh, not really, but yes. The JWST photo, I'm going to make a video on that next. This is me sort of like getting my head in the States so I can make a video. It's Princess Bride. Inconceivable. Yeah, I love The Princess Bride. Watched that so many times. I have the book that was written, As You Wish. And it was actually just totally randomly, like I was just flicking through random things on YouTube and I watched like a cast interview thing from a couple of years ago. Stowaway. Yeah, look, I like many things about Stowaway, but I don't think that it's, I'm really happy to have been involved in it. And its weaknesses are, not necessarily anything that I had any control over. But you know, I think you got to always push yourself. As I think the filmmakers had an amazing idea, right? I think it just needed a little more framing or whatever to make it work perfectly. Still, I think I'm happy it got made. So anyway, I've got to sign off because I have things to do. I cannot comment on iOS 16. Although, by the way, I can say that the ability to detect the dog in the frame and cut it out, that it really is like an amazing piece of AI. Like that is everything that is good about Apple hardware and software, because the hardware and the software are so tightly integrated that you can do that kind of thing on a phone and not worry about burning all your power. Anyway, I'm gonna say good night. Let's take one last look at the sky. There's the moon there. There we go. Oh, you can't see it. Well, I'm here. Good night. Farewell. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching me chill for a little bit. I'm off to make some videos, and I hope I'll have one of them posted very soon. Until then, I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe. Oh, wait. Yes, I gotta put the end button now. And